I was cleaning up after hosting my husband's family when I heard his mother whisper, "She's just playing house. This will all belong to his real wife one day." I froze behind the door. My husband said nothing, just kept eating. That night, I took photos of every dish, every receipt, every message, and sent them to my lawyer with the subject line, "Let's talk about ownership." My name's Marcy. I'm 36, live in McKinney, Texas, and I thought I had a normal life. I've been married to James for almost 6 years. We met when I was working as an office assistant at a mid-sized construction firm in Plano. He was the project manager. He used to say I was the only one in the office who kept him sane. I believed him. When we got married, we bought a small but nice house just north of downtown McKinney. I paid for most of the down payment with the money I'd saved from my dad's life insurance. James didn't know that detail. He just knew I had some savings, and I wanted to build a future with him. I handled most of the paperwork. I managed the bills. He handled the yard and repairs. That was our deal. His family never liked me. His mom, Donna, never really looked me in the eye. She had this fake smile she'd wear anytime she was around me, but her words always had bite. Subtle, but sharp. "Is that how you fold towels?" she once asked, with that tight-lipped grin. James always liked his mother's cooking. She'd remind me every damn holiday, even when I'd spend hours cooking his favorite meals. But I took it. I told myself they'd come around. I told myself it didn't matter, because James chose me. Because he loved me. At least, that's what I thought. 2 weeks ago, we hosted dinner for his whole family, his mom, dad, 2 sisters, their husbands, and their kids. It was the first full family gathering we'd had since before the pandemic. I went all out. Cleaned the house top to bottom. Cooked 2 meats, 3 sides, made dessert from scratch. I even bought that overpriced bottle of wine Donna once said she liked. They arrived early. Donna didn't even knock, just let herself in like always. She made a face when she walked in, looked at the rug I'd just shampooed, and said, "Still holding on to that thing, huh?" James just laughed. Dinner was fine. I smiled, made sure everyone's glass was full, played with the nieces and nephews. James sat at the head of the table. His sisters talked over me. Donna made sure to point out how she used to host dinners like this before things changed. After dessert, I started cleaning up. Everyone stayed at the table, still chatting, still drinking. I was in the kitchen, running water over the plates, when I heard it. "She's just playing house," Donna said, clear as day. "This will all belong to his real wife one day." I didn't move. I was standing right behind the kitchen door. It was cracked open, just enough for me to see into the dining room. Donna was sitting next to James. She didn't even lower her voice that much. She knew I might hear her. Maybe she wanted me to. James didn't say a word. Not a single word. He just kept eating. Stabbed a piece of steak with his fork and nodded along to whatever his sister was saying. Like his mother hadn't just gutted me in one sentence. My heart started pounding. My hands went cold. I stood there for maybe 2 minutes. Then I turned off the water, dried my hands, and walked into the laundry room. Sat down on the little stool we kept in there and stared at the floor. That sentence kept running through my head. This will all belong to his real wife one day. What did she mean? Was she just being cruel? Or did she know something I didn't? I went back out, smiled, cleaned up the rest of dinner. Didn't say a thing. James kissed my cheek when they left and said, "Thanks, babe." They loved it. That night, I didn't sleep. I waited until James knocked out around midnight. Then I got up and started documenting everything. I took pictures of the food, the empty wine bottles, the receipts from Kroger and Target, the list I'd written to prep the meal, the text messages from his sister confirming they'd come. I pulled up our mortgage papers, our bank statements, every bill I paid from my personal account, and took screenshots. Then I wrote one sentence in an email to my lawyer. "Let's talk about ownership." I wasn't sure what I was planning yet, but I knew something was off. and I was going to find out. I didn't confront James right away. I wanted to know what I was dealing with first. That sentence from his mother, his real wife, it echoed in my head for days. And the way James just ignored it, that told me everything I needed. I started watching him closely. He'd been spending more time at the gym lately. Leaving early. Coming home late. Always had a reason. Work, errands, traffic, whatever. And his phone? That thing was glued to his hand. Even took it into the bathroom, like he thought I'd go through it if he left it alone for 1 second. So I tested him. One evening, I told him I'd be working late. Asked if he wanted me to pick up dinner on my way back. He said no, he'd already made plans with his buddy Rick to watch the game. I knew that was a lie. Rick's wife, Andrea, and I aren't close, but we're friendly. So I texted her, just casual, asking if the guys were hanging out. She wrote back fast, Rick's homesick. He hasn't left the couch all day. I sat there, staring at the message. My stomach dropped. My hands shook. Then I put on my coat, got in the car, and drove. I didn't even know where I was going at first, but I ended up near this bar in Frisco where James and his coworkers sometimes went after work. And there he was. Not with coworkers. Not with Rick. With a woman. She was tall, blonde, dressed like she wanted attention. She leaned across the table and touched his hand. He laughed. Threw his head back like he hadn't done with me in years. I didn't go in. I didn't yell. I just sat in the car and took pictures. When he got home that night, I was already in bed, pretending to be asleep. He kissed the top of my head like everything was fine. The next morning, I texted my lawyer again. Told him I needed a full breakdown of the house title, the accounts, the business James had started last year that I loaned him money for. I wanted to know what I legally owned. Then I started digging on my own. And I found something. Not just the woman. Her name was Brittany, by the way. 29. Works in sales. Still uses the word hashtag out loud. But I also found texts on an old iPad James forgot to disconnect. It was sitting in a drawer in the guest room. I'd given it to my niece months ago, but she returned it when it stopped holding a charge. I'd left it alone. Until now. I charged it. Opened the messages. And there it was. Messages between him and Brittany going back months. Pictures. Plans. Jokes about how much longer he had to fake it. One message hit like a punch to the gut. She's useful for now. Keeps the house looking good. Cooks like she's auditioning for Top Chef. But this won't last forever. I've got plans. Useful. That's what I was to him. I didn't cry. I took screenshots of everything. And then I called my lawyer and told him, I'm ready. Tell me how to burn this all down without losing a dime. My lawyer, Mitch, has been with me since before James and I married. He helped me handle my dad's estate. He's sharp. Not the kind of man who sugarcoats anything. When I called him, I expected him to say slow down, think it through. But he didn't. Instead, he said, I've been waiting for this call. That made my stomach twist. What do you mean? He paused. You sure you want to know everything? That's when I found out James had been to see a lawyer too. 2 months ago. About dissolving our joint assets quietly. He'd told them I had mental stability issues and that he was concerned about my decision-making. Mitch said they were trying to build a trail. If it came down to a split, he wanted you to look unhinged. I felt my heart pound against my chest. All those little things he'd been doing, suddenly they made sense. The innocent questions like, do you even remember where you put that bill? The constant correcting me when I spoke in front of others. Telling his sisters she gets overwhelmed easily. It wasn't just cheating. He was laying the groundwork to make me look unstable. And then Mitch hit me with something worse. The house, he said. Your name's on the mortgage, not the deed. It's in a trust. A trust James created through a family connection. I couldn't speak. That meant, on paper, I didn't own the house. I'd paid for it, managed it, repaired it, decorated it. But legally, I was a tenant. My voice cracked when I finally said, "Can we fight that?" "We're gonna do more than fight it," Mitch said. "We're gonna rip it apart." That night, I didn't sleep. Again. But not because I was sad. I was boiling. I walked through every room of the house with my phone, documenting everything I'd bought. Every piece of furniture. Every fixture I'd installed. I had boxes in the attic labeled with receipts for the renovations I paid for from my personal account. Hardwood floors? My savings. New stove? I charged it, paid it off. And then, a message popped up on my phone. From an unknown number. "I didn't mean for you to get hurt. I thought you knew. Brittany." I stared at the screen. I didn't respond. But now I knew something else. Brittany thought I knew about her. That meant James had been running his mouth. Painting a picture. Trying to soften the blow before it hit. I was done playing house. And now I wanted answers from both of them. The next day, I texted James. "Dinner at 7. Just you and me. We need to talk." He wrote back almost too fast. "Sounds good, babe." I made his favorite, stuffed pork chops, garlic green beans, and mashed potatoes with the skin on. I lit candles. I even wore the dress he always said made me look like someone who belonged on his arm. He walked in like nothing was wrong. Gave me a kiss, smiled, washed his hands. Halfway through dinner, I said, "You've been busy lately." He nodded. "Yeah, lots going on at work." I stared him straight in the face. "And with Brittany?" He froze. Fork in midair. "What?" "You heard me." Silence. Then a lie. "She's just a friend." I cut him off. "Stop. I know everything. I saw the messages. I saw the pictures. I know about the lawyer. I know about the trust. And I know what your mother said." His face went white. He didn't say a word. Just set his fork down. I reached into the drawer by the table and slid a folder across to him. Inside was a printed letter from Mitch. A breakdown of all the assets I could prove I paid for. A copy of the trust document, which had a little post-it note stuck to it with one word, voidable. And most importantly, a cease and desist letter warning him to stop any defamatory statements about my mental health. His hands shook as he read it. "You're doing this now?" he asked. "No," I said. "I did this weeks ago. You're just catching up." I stood up. "I want the house. I want my money back. I want my name cleared. You can leave on your own, or with a sheriff." He didn't leave that night. He slept on the couch. But the next morning, he was gone. Took a duffel bag and nothing else. But the story didn't end there. A week later, Brittany showed up at my door. Unannounced. She was crying. "I didn't know," she kept saying. "He told me you were separated." I didn't invite her in. I didn't yell. I just stood in the doorway and said, "He lies." "And you believed him. That's on you." Then I shut the door in her face. 2 months later, I was awarded temporary control of the house. Mitch filed for full ownership based on the contributions I made. James tried to fight it, but he had no receipts, no paper trail, and now, thanks to Brittany's texts and a few messages his own sister forwarded to me, I had proof he was trying to gaslight me. His own mother testified that I had acted unstable. But her words backfired when I showed pictures of all the family events I hosted, the schedules I kept, the texts where she asked me to help with her bills. The judge wasn't kind to him. In the end, James lost the house. He lost me. He lost Brittany, too. Turns out she was just his latest lie, not his last. And me? I didn't walk away untouched. I made the mistake of trusting someone who never saw me as equal, who used me until he thought he didn't need me. But I left with something more important than revenge. I left with proof. Proof that I wasn't just playing house. I built it. And no one's taking it from me again.